Today we're just going to we'll talk about the art and the science of mindset, and especially growth mindset. And uh, what sticks out to me, Rob, is that comment you made, which I thought was really beautiful. Do I have it inside me, right? And I want to answer, yes, you do. And there's an energy inside all of us that sometimes gets deflected by the unconscious. And our unconscious mind um, might involve, well, our unconscious mind is involved in protecting us, avoiding conflict, and sometimes the self-critic plays a role in that. And the self-critic might say, you can't do that. You can't teach a leadership course. You're going to fail. Stay where it's safe, right? And that would be an example of what Carol Dweck called a fixed mindset. Wh- Um, Thriving requires something really different. It means stepping past the critic, beyond the instinct to hide and be safe, and really choosing to grow. And this is especially going to be important in this time of human intelligence interacting with artificial intelligence. How are we growing? How are we opening ourselves to possibilities, and following what Kyle mentioned earlier, the North Star. So when I taught psychoanalysis for a number of years, I really thought that Carol Dweck's book, Mindset, was a real simplistic view of the mind. And now here I am, uh, a few years later, I find that I see really come to see its power, and I use it every day. And because it does involve, it's not just a motivational phrase, growth mindset. It's a practice of working with the unconscious and the critic that's inside us that holds us back. And we want to silent the critic and shift the mindset, open the doors for growth. So, and really kind of have this transformational experience in our mind. And so, Carol Dweck kind of breaks it down into two concepts. The fixed mindset is that beliefs and abilities are static traits. Um, Often individuals with kind of a fixed mindset avoid challenge and give up easily. I'm not good at this. I can't do it. And again, that's the unconscious and the self-critic that takes over. And a growth mindset is a belief that intelligence and abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. And I think there's something even more to it. I believe that it's a sense that when we use language, like the power of yet, we start to kind of see that there's something that opens our heart, opens our mind. Okay, I'm not able to kind of go to my next slide here. Let me see. There we go. Oh, shoot. Um, Let me pop back here. Uh, so Carol Dweck talks about uh, has a quote that's pretty powerful. It makes a lot of sense. The view that you adopt of yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life. And that idea, Rob, of do I have it inside me, right? And if you believe you have it inside you, or even if you tell yourself that you have it inside you and you doubt it, that will lead to change. The other concept that Kyle and I have talked about is effort as a pathway to mastery and success. What you put into it is part of the journey. And we could get a sense of our mindsets based on how we respond to failure and criticism. The fixed mindset is I'm just not good enough, right? And we all struggle with that. We all struggle with critical messages. And the growth mindset is that failure equals an opportunity for learning. And leaders really can shift culture by reframing criticism as opportunity for growth instead of personal attack. And that's really hard for us to do because we're sensitive beings, and we don't necessarily uh, want want to respond in a positive way to criticism and negative feedback. So if we get into this place of like, okay, I'm learning, and I went through um, a workshop this morning, and someone shared their sales call, and someone who's doing some sales coaching was really critical of this guy, um, in a loving way. And I wanted to say to the person who shared, it's like, wow, what a great opportunity for learning. I could tell that he was taking it that way, but he could have easily shut down. And so taking that negative feedback and just saying, wow, I'm just learning, and not letting it affect the self-esteem is powerful. And we can have a growth mindset in our hiring process and talent development. A fixed mindset organizations look for natural born leaders. Of course, that's going to be a dynamic, but a growth mindset are organizations that invest in development, training, and coaching. Um, and what Kyle talks about the transformational leadership. So you can have even systems can have growth mindset, families can have growth mindset, religious systems can have growth mindset, right? Constantly growing. And Rob, especially right now, I think this is just uh, an exciting time for you in this place of, would you retire at Energizer? Can you move into this growth mindset and say, you know what, I really want to teach. I want to, or do a little bit of both, and I have it in me. And I want to give an example of a organization that has a kind of a growth mindset. Microsoft. Satya Nadella talks about moving from know-it-alls to learn-it-alls, and we're just constantly learning. I heard a coach say that at a party, he when he has conversations with people who are in their 40s and their 50s, like we are, that he wants to come across that person who's learning something. That's what really inspires him. Like, what are you learning? What are you taking in? And the simple magical term in the growth mindset is embracing the yet, right? So when you say, well, I don't know, I'm not a professor, I don't know about leadership yet. You put the yet at the end, and that the power of the yet, this opens up the heart, the mind, um, and the will to have possibilities, right? You might say, I haven't closed that deal yet. I'm not a good musician yet. And the yet, if you just put that word at the end of the sentence, and this is what they're teaching in schools now, uh, it has this transformational shift in the psyche and in the body. And this is an idea, the progress, not perfect. This is from Jordan Lee from this AI group. He's the CEO of this AI group. He says, just keep moving the ball. Focus on continuous improvement, not flawless execution. We don't want to get into paralysis by analysis. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. And a lot of times we have a hard time framing that for ourselves, because we get caught up in failures, we get caught up in the self-critic, and we want to give up. And then uh, grow through discomfort, putting ourselves out there, being vulnerable, sharing. Discomfort is a sign of growth, and embrace the challenge of for lasting progress. A book that Kyle and I talk about, Rob, it's a really fantastic book. It's called Inner Excellence by Jim Murphy. And I follow Jim Murphy, on social media, and he said that for him, a definition of courage is someone who's not afraid to be foolish, not afraid to put herself or himself out there and uh, and look foolish. And Mel Robbins has a book now called Let Them, which is a little bit along the same lines. Don't worry about other people. Focus on uh, what's inside you and those who are around you, who love you and support you, who will help you flourish. So grow through discomfort. The unconscious doesn't want to do that. The unconscious wants to be like, this is way too vulnerable. This is way too hard. We should be retiring now and settling down and just going to festivals or whatever, playing golf or riding bikes. And really, um, uh, we want to kind of continue our growth through our lifespan, right? That's part of self-actualization. That's part of the North Star, continued growth. And that requires discomfort of putting ourselves out there. Um, so the blocks to growth mindset, and imagine these arrows are just kind of pushing in on the mind. Perfectionism, like I mentioned earlier, uh, having to do it just right. Probably the number one block would be fear, um, fear of failure, and we all experience fear of humiliation. Low self-belief, which is related to a fixed mindset. Low self-esteem. Um, and the the kind of balance between skills and confidence. When we have a lot of course, when we have a lot of confidence and not a lot of skill, we can be reckless. But we want to find that balance where we can move ahead. You can learn the skills as you're moving along. So I was not a big Tony Robbins fan back, just a couple years ago. But I really come to appreciate as I moved more into coaching, what he has to offer, and especially this idea that I just learned in the last week, the difference between affirmations, which I've been doing with my daughter in field hockey, just saying, I'm unstoppable, I'm confident, I'm strong. Uh, Positive affirmations are important, but he mentions incantations, and incantations are almost kind of a religious term of feeling it in your body. It might be hand expressions, it might be your intonation, like I'm unstoppable. Something that you might want to do in your car, or you want to kind of move it into your body, whole voice, with energy. And that's something that we want to take in when we're accessing growth mindset. We want to we want to have rebuild our belief system through these affirmations that are moving into incantations. Um, and this is a model that I use. We're using our kind of energy inside to just do it now energy, which would be fiery red, like let's go, let's do it, let's move it. Do it right would be blue energy, analyzing, do it together. Rob, you might have some of that. I do as well, like the relational extroversion, do it harmoniously, which would be more of like a grounded leader. We're accessing all of our energy. We all have this based on what Carl Jung is saying. We have all these energies and how we move ahead with the growth mindset. So we won't go through this now, but Rob, we'll send out a growth mindset assessment that looks at how we embrace challenge, learn from feedback, respond to setbacks, a belief in our own development, self-awareness. So we get a little bit of an idea of how we can improve, what our strengths are, and our growth mindset journey. So yeah, does it bring up anything? I know we're kind of coming up on the hour.
I'm going to pause the recording.